All right, how is it going, ladies and gentlemen? This is the KRVYGO Yu-Gi-Oh channel. I am fresh back from my locals. I mean, I'm talking, I got home 15 minutes ago. I'm not exaggerating. I just had the best locals I've ever had. I went undefeated, 3-0. Not too many rounds, 3-0. I know a lot of places do a lot more rounds than that, but we did 3 rounds. We had, I can't even remember how many people, but I had quite literally the best locals I have ever had. So before we get into everything, I also did purchase one of these bad boys right here. So we will be opening this on the channel. This is going to be the very next upload is going to be us opening this. We're going to be going for those QCRs, obviously the Neptibus, the Toads, all the good stuff out of this bad boy. So be on the lookout for that. But I kind of wanted to just go over what happened at locals, the experiences that I had, and some of the new things that I learned, and some of the new things that happened pretty much. So to kind of get started off, the MVP was this card right here, Virtue Stream. This card went absolutely crazy for me. The amount of disruption that this card can cause. I mean, a lot of decks. So the very first game I faced Tenpai. This card didn't do too much in that matchup. Actually, Mulan Glacia happened to be the card that absolutely went crazy. Just ripping 2 cards out of a Tenpai player's hand, and then just kind of having the disruptions, and then knowing that they want to go second, so you're able to kind of set up the board. Luckily, he didn't have too many hand traps, or I think he had a couple, but I was able to play around them, which was really good. But Virtue Stream, the second game I played against some sort of like a machine type deck. It probably wasn't the best deck in the world, but the guy playing it was really cool. It was my first time meeting him. But this card was just insane both games. The other thing is too, all 3 rounds, I won probably within like 5 minutes. Like, it was unbelievable. I was able to have full combo pretty much every single game, and it was just insurmountable. The last game I went up against Heroes. Again, I know that, it's not the greatest of decks to go up against, you know what I mean? The guy that was playing the Heroes deck was a really, really good player. This card also just kind of went... Oh, here's the other thing against that machine deck. So he Kaiju'd me. He used Gamma Seal. He Kaiju'd me. And I was able to tribute his Kaiju with this, because it's an Aqua, to activate Virtue Stream. So I thought that was kind of funny. It was kind of like he Gamma Sealed my Toad, and then I was kind of like, well, that sucks. But then I thought about it. I was like, I have Virtue Stream set. I'm just going to tribute that Kaiju and then pop 2 monsters. That was unbelievable. But this card went super, super hard for me. Another MVP is like not even, I mean, come on, like obviously. But yeah, so I added Tidal. This was a card that I added, I wanted to test with. I actually didn't use this card a single time. So I can't really report back too much about how I felt about this card, because I literally never used it one time. I don't even think I ever saw it. I think this card stayed in the deck the entire time. So nothing too much to report on that. But we did add a couple cards that we didn't play, but we picked them up at local. Shout out the Bullpen. The Bullpen is a great card shop if you're in the Central Valley of California, in Fresno on Herndon. For those of you guys that might hear of that, great card shop if you guys want to stop by. So I picked up Fishborg Harpooner. This card seems really interesting. I know there's quite a few people that are playing this. I saw some people online that were using this card, so I kind of wanted to pick it up and just give it a shot. For those that don't know, you can reveal this card and one water monster in your hand, special summon one of them and discard the other. You can only use the effect of Fishborn Harpooner once per turn. If this card is sent to the graveyard as material for a water monster, a synchro water monster, you can negate the effect of one effect monster your opponent controls until the end of this turn. So I'm sure that there's some ways you can use this card where it's really good, but it's also kind of good because it's kind of easier to set up your Toad plays, obviously, with your Bahamut Shark, because it is a level 4. It's just a special summon, just like that. So I know I've seen some people playing this, so I figured I'd pick up a couple copies and see how we like it. I also picked up a couple copies of Small World. I'm going to be honest, I'm still super new to this game, so I gotta kind of figure out how this card works. I know there's a lot of people playing this, and they swear by this card. Apparently, it's really, really good. I'm not familiar with this card. I gotta kind of figure out how the effect works. From what I understand, you reveal a card in your hand, and you banish that card, and then you search a card from your deck, and you banish that card as well, and then you can add another card to your hand. That's kind of what I'm understanding from it. So I'm gonna have to kind of get with some people that I met at that at my locals and kind of get some explanation, because there's some really, really good players there that obviously know a lot more than me. So we're gonna see how this card works out. And then another addition we made to the deck is we added this guy right here, the Chen Ying, the Sword Soul. It's just kind of to play in tandem with the Agarine. Just kind of give you an additional body to use. So this is kind of like a protection, and then this is kind of like a more offensive, kind of depending on the matchup. But, you know, I kind of felt like it was weird playing this card, only having one real target, because before I kind of just had this card, and my other synchro was Trishula, and I love Trishula, so it was kind of hard for me to cut just for sentimental reasons. But this card is obviously going to be such a better option to have in the deck. So that's kind of a little bit of the changes that were made. So to kind of go over the what I experienced. So the first game was against Tenpais. The very first game, I mean, I set up just like an insane board. I think I had, I want to say I had 2 Toad. I had obviously had the Neptibus King out. I had pretty much like the best setup you can possibly had. He went into game 2. I already ripped 2 cards of his hand with Moonlight Glacia. Game 2, he had me go first again. I did pretty much the exact same thing back to back. So that was kind of just an easy game. It seems like from my recent experience playing this deck, it seems like this deck has a really good time playing against Tenpai. I know Tenpai is like an incredibly strong deck, but I was able to play pretty well against it. He never saw Shifter. He did tell me after the match that he mains Shifter, so I know he had it. I guess he just never seen it. He never saw it during our matchup, which works for me. Hey, that's no problem here. You know, I totally appreciate that, Yu-Gi-Oh gods. I really do. Against the Machine player, it was kind of the same story. He had me go first. Set up just a crazy board, and he was really unfamiliar with his deck as well. So game 2, he had me go first again, and I was kind of like, okie dokie, if you want me to go first, I will have no problem doing that. And we have set up a crazy board, and we were able to win that game. Against the Hero player, he did brick. I know he bricked pretty hard. Again, he's a really, really good player. I know he said he's going to a regionals, so I was like kind of really putting a lot of focus on that match as far as learning, because when you're playing against really good players, that's where you're going to learn the most. So I was kind of able to kind of feed off that, but to be honest, like, he didn't really even get to play Yu-Gi-Oh. Like game 1, I just set up a crazy board, and then game 2, he kind of bricked. I mean, he literally set 2 and then like passed to me, and then I kind of just did the full blow combo. It was pretty insane. But yeah, the best I've ever done at locals. I know, you know, a lot of people, you know, they go undefeated at locals every single week, this, that, and the other. I've never ever gone undefeated at locals, so to finally do that was absolutely amazing. It felt so good. And to just see Mermails performing so well, to see this Atlantean Mermail deck performing so well. Obviously, Colacanth went hard. This card also was really good because everybody was just trying to disrupt the they were, you know, every time I would get interrupted, I could always rely on going to this card to kind of continue playing and kind of set up the board that I wanted to. Maybe not as strong, but I was able to do good. Another card that actually went hard for me too was Abyss Lacia. So this card was really good because you have this. So I would try and set up my opening hand to have an infantry and a marksman. I got to remember that I'm recording this and have everything in camera. Who knows if any of this is even recorded at this point. But this card went really hard, especially having Shrine Engrave, because you kind of have the 2 disrupts if you have the infantry and the marksman in your hand. So I was maining marksman. That was another change I guess I should go over. I talked to somebody and they said like, hey, having marksman is in your main deck is pretty good because yeah, there's not a lot of sets going on, but your ability to deal with them and then side out the marksman after the fact is always an option, and that's kind of what I ended up doing, and I'm glad I did because this card was obviously really, really good at kind of getting rid of some difficult back row. I will say, oh, you know what? That's what I forgot to mention. So against that machine player, they played Necro Valley. And Necro Valley, when I first saw it, I was like, oh my goodness, like how am I going to deal with this? And I just virtue streamed it, which was absolutely insane. Actually, you know, make sure I didn't cheat. Can I destroy any face-up card? Destroy them. Tribute 1, Fish, Sea Serpent, and Aqua Monster you control, and 2 cards your opponent. Okay, so this card just went hard against Necro Valley, which was really awesome. So overall, man, the deck performed really, really well. I feel like I'm getting a lot more comfortable playing the deck as well. It seems like I'm at that point now where I can kind of see my opening hand and kind of put together a game plan right off the bat, which typically I'm a type of player that like I really like I'll have 5 cards in my hand and I'll just kind of see one card and be like, okay, that's my only play. Where this time I really took my time and I kind of analyzed and tried to think as ahead as I possibly could, and it really worked out. So it's kind of, it feels really good to kind of grow as a player in that aspect. It kind of feels, you know, good to kind of just take a second to breathe and understand that like sometimes it's important to kind of just sit and have a plan before you try and execute. Because a lot of times I just see Neptibus in my hand and I just summon Neptibus and I go, disruption happens, and then bada boom, bada bing, I'm just like, you know, I'm panicking. But this time I was able to kind of stop and think. I was like, okay, I'm going to summon my Neptibus. I'm going to try and resolve the effect. If this does get disrupted, this is going to be my next play, and so on and so forth. And I benefited from that massively. So again, it's kind of awesome to have that growth as a player. I think there was another card I added to, Z Atlantis. So I obviously never played this card. You're obviously not going to play this card a ton, just because it's more of like, you know, obviously it's a board wipe. But I did add it to the deck, and it's kind of a nice thing to have, because a lot of times, like when your opponent sets certain things up, you can know, okay, at least I have that card to kind of deal with that. I never made it, but it was nice to kind of have. But yeah, overall, guys, like absolutely fantastic time with this deck. Fantastic time playing. The people at the locals were really cool. Helped me out a ton too as well, kind of giving me some guidance as far as some of the newer decks, because obviously having not played for such a long time, I'm still kind of catching up with what is in the meta and what is good and what isn't. But yeah, just kind of wanted to give an update on the deck and how we did. And if you guys are interested in checking out this banana, hold on, my cat is trying to destroy my mat really quick. Let me take that out of your paws. Oh my goodness. But yeah, so if you guys are interested in seeing the Bonanza box, we are going to be opening that bad boy up. Hopefully we're going to get some QCRs. But yeah, I just wanted to kind of give this little update on the deck. I'll probably upload another profile soon. It won't be massively different from the first profile that we did, but I feel like there's enough changes and enough kind of ideas to where we can kind of run it back and just you know, take our time going over what we added and what we like and what we don't like. So that'll probably be another video we're going to be doing pretty soon. But yeah, great time at locals, great time learning. This deck is really strong right now. So I'm glad to see that. So again, if you guys do like the content, I would appreciate if you dropped a little bit of a subscription. We got 2 subscribers now. So shout out to those 2 guys, and shout out to everybody that watches the video, drops a like, all that good stuff. I do appreciate it. So this has been KRV YGO. Appreciate it, everybody, and peace.